What's up, beautiful people? I'm Nathaniel Pearl.
And I'm Sammy Sheva.
And welcome to Curious Chimps Podcast, a show where we explore the infinite complexities of the human experience.
We do not endorse anything illegal, so please, consult doctors, do your research, and for the love of all that is holy, be safe. All right, let's talk about drugs.
Curious Chimps. Okay, so, welcome.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sammy, me and Chanel go way back. You know how many years? What was it? Was it like 17 years?
I think it was like 17 years. We were in elementary school together.
Way more than half your life.
Yeah, like the development years.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It's wild.
Yeah, it's really wild. I feel so old just saying that.
Yeah, why do we bring that up?
How old are you?
I actually, it's my birthday today.
Oh my God, happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's so funny.
I just turned 32.
Quarantine hugs from social distancing hug.
I'm going to hug my camera. 32. Do I look 22
okay.
in my face? My mom says I look like a teenager still. I'm like,
you do.
Okay.
You do look young.
Yeah, it's those baby cheeks.
That's it. If I shave, I suddenly look like 21 again. That's for sure. But I'm just like sporting the quarantine look. I'm like
just letting it all grow out.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm flaunting it in front of your lovely bald. I'm just like,
So,
embrace it.
So just to bring a little introduction, Chanel, like we've known each other for a long time. We haven't spoken often, but recently I saw on Instagram your story, which is kind of new, which you'll get into. But so when I saw that, I was just instantly like inspired. I mean, you were diagnosed with Hodgkins Lymphoma, and
yes, I was diagnosed on February 13th, 2020. With Hodgkins lymphoma. I had been feeling sick for a long time, and suddenly I just got so sick that I was rushed to the emergency, and I found what I thought was bronchitis ended up being cancer. So yeah, it was a big shock. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and it's pretty fresh too. February is not long ago. Wow.
It hasn't been very long, but it feels like so long ago. Wow. Honestly, I have to say it does feel like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I had to go through like so much since then. So it's been a roller coaster, but honestly, throughout everything, I have to say that I've learned like so much like positive things have came from this. So I'm really grateful about that.
Yeah. Wow. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can't imagine. I guess everything gets into perspective once you get news like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I had been sick for like a really long time. I knew there was something wrong. Like it had been probably I'd say not minimum 9 months that I started to feel sick.
Okay.
So like honestly, that's one message that I always want to like tell everyone is always listen to your body, and like don't think that just one opinion is like the right opinion. Get many opinions, and if you believe and you feel something in your heart and like in your body, like don't put that to rest, you know, until you find out like the real truth.
Wow. Yeah. You said like you were feeling sick for like 8-9 months before. Like what were you feeling? It was just
so it started off by, I had been on vacation, like to see my dad. He lives in North Carolina. So I went there for a week, or 2 weeks, I think in last March.
Okay.
And when I went there, I realized that my skin had like broken out in a rash for some reason. Like it was really weird for like 1 week, and then it went away. And it was like a reaction to something, but I never really knew what it was. So then I came back I came back from vacation, and after vacation, I started to just feel like completely like tired. Like I would sleep all night. I would sleep 11 hours. I tried sleeping 8 hours.
Yeah. So before that, you were talking about sleeping like 11 hours a night and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I could never get enough sleep, guys. Like I literally slept so much. I could never get enough sleep. I was going to school, like I had a like super active lifestyle. So basically I was going to school full time at Concordia in business, and I was working as well full time, like packed schedule. I literally had no time for myself. I was always on the go. So I thought maybe also it could have been my lifestyle too, the fact that I was always like so fast paced, and sometimes I would wake up and I wouldn't eat until like 1 p.m. or something like that, because you know I was like always in a rush, and I wasn't like taking the time for my like to take care of myself. So I thought that maybe it was because of that. But then I tried to like eliminate everything, like all the possibilities. So I started eating better, and I started sleeping more, and like it just didn't make a difference. It just kept on getting worse and worse. Like, and the second thing was that I started to lose weight, like a lot of weight. So I was like 127, and by the time I was diagnosed, I was 112.
Wow.
I had lost like, yeah. So like, and no matter how much I ate, like I just kept on losing weight. I just kept on losing weight. I think that was one of the biggest things that like made me feel really like sad and really sick, is the fact that like I had no control over my body anymore. Like no matter what I put into my body, like my nutrients and everything, like all the fruits and vegetables I was eating,
it didn't help.
The exercise I was doing, it didn't help. It just didn't help. It just felt like there was something inside of me that was just sucking the life out of me. Like that's the best way that I could explain how I was feeling. Like sucking the energy out of me and sucking the nutrients out of me.
Wow.
Like that's the best way that I could explain the whole situation.
Yeah.
And I was really eager to find out like what was wrong. So I made an appointment with my family doctor, and I actually my family's family, like I didn't have a family doctor at that point, but I went to my mom's family doctor. And I went in, and he told me he did a whole bunch of blood tests, and we seen the results of the blood tests. I went in for the blood test. No, not for the blood test, to like examine the results of the blood test for the follow-up. And he was like, oh, looking at the paper, like, no, I don't really see anything that's wrong here, you know, like there's nothing wrong. I think you just need to eat more. Like that's what everybody was telling me. Just eat more. Like you're skinny, like just eat, you know.
But you knew something was deeper.
Oh yeah, definitely knew that there was something deeper. And I was like pressuring him about it a bit. I was like, look, like I know there's something. Is there anything at all? And then he like looks down the list, I guess, of like different blood levels or whatever. And then he says that my white blood cell count was pretty high. And when I got out of the office later that day, I Googled, like I knew that there was something wrong. Also, my dad's a doctor. So like I kind of am aware of these kinds of things. But I just Googled it to be safe. I was like, what did I Google? White blood cell counts. And usually when your white blood cell count is high, that means that your body is trying to fight something. No matter if it's an infection or if it's cancer, for example, but if your white blood cell count is high, it means that something's wrong. Usually it's an indicator that something's wrong. Yeah. So he kind of just like brushed me off. And
so that's why you're so big on the second opinions, because now it makes sense. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, definitely second opinion for sure. And like going into this for sure, like if you experience those kind of symptoms, it's almost directly linked to to Hodgkin's lymphoma. I mean, there's not many other things. Well, there is many other things that it could be, but with the swollen lymph node as well, that just definitely an indicator.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's been a journey.
Yeah, definitely has been a journey.
And you posted on Instagram when it happened, or when you found out, or maybe it was a few weeks after. I don't remember the exact post, but
yeah.
I just remember reading it and like, I don't know, it just like, it hit me so hard, and I commented, and then seeing like all the support you got from everyone was just, that was inspiring in its own. And now seeing that you're starting to come out with your YouTube channel and starting to really turn this situation into something, into a positive, in a sense, where you're trying to inspire and help and reach out to people in your situation. And it's crazy. It's smart. It's beautiful, you know?
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. But definitely, like, at first I was really skeptical about even telling anyone. Honestly, I kind of just wanted to like keep it to myself, and I was in like a state of denial almost, just because I was like, why me? Like, why do I have to go through this? You know, like, I work so hard, you know, I've been through enough. Like, give me a break, you know?
Yeah.
But then I started to like think about it, and I was like, you know what? I really want to like make a difference with this. And I really want like, and it's actually helping me to cope as well. Like sharing my feelings and sharing like everything that I've been through has actually opened me up like so much, like to like so much blessings in my life so far.
Wow.
Like just telling everybody like what I was going through, like it attracted so many people that are going through the same thing, like from all over the world. Now I have like at least like 20 new friends that I talk to literally every day.
Nice.
Just talking about like, oh, how was your last treatment? How was your improvement? How was your PET scan? Like it feels good to share it with everyone else, and I get that support from everyone, like you and everyone.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like when someone's going through the same thing as you, it's like a deep connection that I have with all those people, you know. It's amazing. Like, I'm really, really happy that I did it. And at first, the whole YouTube thing was a little bit scary too, because generally, like, before all of this, I'm kind of like a shy person. I'm not like a person that's like very, like, I'm outgoing, but it takes me a while to become that way, you know? So it was like a really big challenge for me to just lay it all on the line and just tell everybody like what I was going through. But I'm really happy that I decided to do that. So, yeah.
It's incredible. And I'm sure it's well received, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's still a little bit of a challenge on the technical side, for sure, for me.
Oh, yeah. We believe me, we know.
How to even make an intro yet.
Yeah. It comes.
Yeah. We know the struggles of that, at least.
Like tutorials, I guess I'm going to have to rely on. Maybe you guys could teach me a couple of things.
Yeah.
Maybe a little faster than a YouTube video, but I don't know. We've had a lot of help ourselves.
Yeah,
put it that way.
We've been fortunate with that too, but it's nice, even like this is a form of community too. Like everyone we ask questions to and stuff, everyone's helping everyone in this too. So that's the power of community, you know? It's community is so important. And
it's kind of something we're missing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like especially like during these times, I never felt like closer to everyone and to myself as well. Just been taking a lot of time to really think about like how I want things to be like from here on out, you know? I feel like we're all kind of forced to do that during these times, like, and it feels really good. We had to go through something big, you know? Obviously, this is not something that anyone wants to go through. It, I'm talking about like quarantine and the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
But it kind of forces us to think about like what's really important in life, and I appreciate that at least.
Yeah, I mean, what else can we do? You know, you can distract yourself for so many hours watching Netflix, but at the end of the day, we're still stuck in this box that we call an apartment, you know?
Exactly. And like, especially me going through what I'm going through right now, and like
Wow.
going through like this during COVID-19 times, like it's actually really crazy because I got diagnosed, and then COVID happened, and then I wasn't allowed to have any, like, I'm not allowed to have any visitors at the hospital anymore. I'm not allowed to go outside, you know? So it's like almost like a double whammy. Like,
Yeah.
like it's crazy, but I've kind of gotten used to it. And when I go into the hospital, at first I was kind of mad because I was like, oh, like I have to do this alone. I have to like go for all my appointments alone, and also for chemo alone. And then I walked into like the cancer part of the hospital, like the Cedars Cancer Center. And then I seen like so many people that were way worse off than me, like on ventilators and like really barely breathing, you know? Wow. And I was like, you know what? We're doing like a good thing by staying home and, you know, taking care of this, like, and me not having visitors to put them in jeopardy, let's say.
It's true.
So, yeah.
You know?
So it kind of made me realize, like, you know, this is important that we're doing this.
Yeah. You know, we're protecting the more vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was so nervous about the whole thing when it first started, though, just because my levels and everything have been, obviously I'm immunocompromised.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like relaxing a little bit. But it's been tough, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Would you be down to like take us to school a little bit about what's like what the disease entails? I don't know
sure.
if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hodgkins lymphoma is a cancer. It's a blood cancer, and it affects the lymphomatic system. So like your lymph nodes all around your body. And actually, the age group that it affects is very young. It's from 17 to 30 years old. So
okay.
I don't understand, to be honest, why this is affecting so many young people right now at this age. Like, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But it is affecting a lot of people our age. And I don't know what the reason is for that, but it sucks. It really sucks. Definitely. And yeah, so, oh my God, sorry, guys. It's a blood cancer. So I'm getting so nervous. I'm sorry.
No, don't be. No. It's
yeah.
But
it's a touchy thing, you know. We understand. I'm honestly I'm already just getting emotional just listening to you. Like this is free form and long form, and the beauty of it is the community and the honesty, like exactly what you're doing with your side of things. So
yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about like the side effects and stuff.
Sure.
Basically, one of the side effects is night sweats. So that's a side effect that I was experiencing a lot. That was one of the last side effects that I had. So along with the extreme fatigue, the weight loss, then my body was like, okay, girl, go to the doctor again. I'm giving you night sweats now. Wow. Now you really gotta go. Yeah. Like, so when I say night sweats, I mean like I would go to sleep and I would wake up and my bed would be like drenched, like every single night. So that's actually one of the biggest symptoms of Hodgkin's lymphoma is night sweats. When they heard that that's like basically when they kind of diagnosed me. That was towards the end, because that's when I got that symptom towards the end only when I was diagnosed. Okay. And when they heard about that symptom, they kind of almost knew that that's what I had.
It was confirmation.
It was like an aha moment. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that and the swollen lymph node here on my neck.
Okay.
So usually they pop up. Actually, it's a funny story because in January, like close to when I was getting diagnosed, I was feeling really, really, really sick, and I really needed to relax. I was like, you know what? I need to go to the spa and get a massage.
Nice.
And like, yeah, so I went to the spa in the Old Port. Yeah, because I was like, what's wrong with me? You know, like I really need to calm down. I need to go to the spa. Like, there's nothing that can't fit, that a spa can't fix.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, spa fixes most things.
Yes, I was like, okay, so I'm going to the spa. I booked my massage at the spa. I went to the spa, and I went in like the hot bath, the cold bath, and everything. And then I got a massage, and then maybe 2 days later, that's when my lymph node popped up. Lymph node popped up. I think that it was because, honestly, I really think that it was because of the massage that it popped up. So basically, if you think about it, that massage kind of saved my life.
Wow.
Because if that didn't pop up, then I wouldn't have went to the emergency, and I wouldn't have went to the hospital. I would have never found out like what was happening to me. Because the pressure on like my shoulders and my back, that's like exactly what happened. My lymph node popped up.
Well, that's it.
So.
Massage definitely had an effect. It helped the circulation, which brought it more to light, which is actually, fuck, we got to find that massage therapist. Give him like a hug.
Yeah, we should. I remember her. I think I remember her name. I'll see if I could get in contact with her. But yes, she saved my life.
Wow.
She saved my life for sure. Also, like just like the hot and the cold and the circulation with the massage and everything. Yeah, that it popped that little thing right up.
A little warning sign. That's amazing, though. Jeez.
Yeah.
Did they like catch it early, or so to speak? Like, is that even measurable?
Yeah. I'll explain to you. So I was diagnosed with stage 2B/X. It's kind of complicated with the letters at the end. Stage 2B. So stage 2 is when it's in two different areas in the lymphatic system. So I had a little bump here, and then that caused basically I had to go to the ER to get more tests done, X-rays, CT scan, PET scan, all the scans.
Yeah.
And the first X-ray that they did right away when I went into the ER, after they seen that I had the lymph node, they're like, okay, we're going to take you for further testing. We're going to do an X-ray on you right now. So I did an X-ray. And the second area that they found out that I had something was in my chest. Like, so all of my chest was like basically taken up by this big tumor. It was huge. And I seen it afterwards, like when I got the results from my biopsy, because they also did a biopsy on the lymph node just to test the inside of the lymph node to see like if it was Hodgkins lymphoma or not. And when I had seen the picture of the X-ray, I was like in shock. It was taking, you know how an X-ray is like supposed to be usually all black, kind of like mostly. Yeah. Well, like my X-ray was like all white. It was like everything was like all white. So
that must have been scary to see.
Because it was really scary. It was really, really scary. It was scary, but it was kind of like almost a relief in a way, just because it was like confirmation that I wasn't like crazy, this whole time. Because I also had a lot towards the end, I had a lot of trouble breathing as well, because it was of where the tumor was in my chest. I had a lot of trouble breathing. It was like pushing against my trachea and everything. Okay. So I was really relieved to like see that that's what it was, know?
Like the like at the end of a horror movie when you see the monster, it gets like less scary. Sort of.
Exactly.
It's true.
And exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, it's that little frigger that friggin' was messing up my life for so long, you know? Like, and now it's gonna be dead.
It's also the uncertainty, right? Not knowing
Rip
is
that bitch out. Yeah.
Yeah, like, bye.
It's all the uncertainty of just the unknown of not knowing. That's the scariest part, right? Like
It's like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it could be
Yeah,
anything. The
especially,
mind's going
yeah.
on a wheel, right?
Exactly. And like when I was in the emergency, and like I realized that they were like really processing me really fast in the emergency. Like when I went, because I first went to a clinic, and the guy at the clinic told me, "Oh, you're not going anywhere. You're not going home, and I can't give you antibiotics, and you're off work for like 3 weeks, and you got to go straight to the ER." And I was like, "Are you serious?" Like I came in here for antibiotics for bronchitis because I was feeling congested, you know, and with the lymph node, of course, but mostly because of the congestion that I was feeling as well. And I went into the clinic, and he's like, he wrote me like this little letter. And he told me, he's like, "You better go to the ER, and you better go now." And I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And, you know, like doctors' writing is kind of like, it's really hard to understand. It's like, with like a question mark. The only word that I was able to recognize was Hodgkins. So
fun.
on that paper, I was like, "Yay, Hodgkins," you know? So I just remember so like clearly after I left the clinic, I went to Starbucks, I got a coffee, and I sat down and I Googled Hodgkins, and then this popped up, and I was like, no way. Like, I don't know what he's saying, but I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And then when I went to the ER, they processed me like super quick. Like they looked at that letter, and I don't know what, like there was, and the ER was completely packed as well. Like, and there was people that were sick there, like really sick.
Yeah.
And they processed me before them. Like, so I kind of like started to get nervous at that point. I was like, okay, something is really wrong, you know? And they put me in the examination room. They processed me through emergency, and they put me in the examination room, and that's when they sent me for the x-ray. And then as soon as the x-ray, they seen the x-ray, but at that point I had not seen the x-ray. They had seen it, but I hadn't. And they came back, and then they're like, "Yeah, so we did find something in your chest. Like, we don't know what it is, but you're going to have to stay like for testing and stuff like that for at least like 2 days here and for testing." And I was like, okay, wow, this is just crazy. And they sent a whole group of doctors in after that, from the oncology and hematology, which is like the blood doctors and the cancer doctors. Yeah. So they sent like a little group of doctors in, students and doctors and the whole crew, touching my armpits, like touching all my lymph nodes and everything. She was like basically teaching them at the same time as. Yeah. I was just like, yeah.
There's a lot
Hospitals are weird, man. Hospitals are just weird. I used to work at a hospital. It's the strangest thing in the world. And I felt every patient there, you know, it's like a patient's a person and something just went wrong, you know, and then you just feel like, oh, I could be this person in any moment. And that's like, was it surreal for you, or was it just kind of a building anxiety?
It was surreal. No, it was surreal. Like, one thing about me is like, I always try to look at like positive side. Like, I don't let like things get me down too much. Like, I try to stay positive as much as I could until I break down, and then whatever happens, you know, but, I was kind of like just absorbing everything. I was still like kind of thinking for the best, praying for the best as well. Like, first of all, at that point, we didn't have any results from like the biopsy. We didn't have anything, like any results from anything. So like at that point, it still could have been something else. In my head, that's what I was thinking at that point, that it could have been something else. But really, from a medical perspective, it was pretty conclusive already, like what was going on. But during that time, I didn't know that. I was completely like, I thought that there was still hope. And I thought that, you know, that it could have been just something else, or maybe like a pneumonia. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking a pneumonia, to be honest. But yeah, I was in the hospital for 2 days. So after that, after the X-ray, then I had to do a CT scan where you have to like drink this liquid and all that. And then the next morning, I woke up and I had to do a biopsy. That was pretty scary. To be honest, I think that was the worst part about the hospital visit.
The biopsy.
Because I had no idea what it was, and I had no idea. I knew what a biopsy was. It didn't like click in my head that I had to get one, and that there was basically going to be like an incision on my neck, and it just happened so fast, you know? So like I couldn't really take the time to like, it's not like I was going into the hospital for a biopsy and leaving. I had been at the hospital for like a day already. I couldn't eat because I had to fast for this biopsy. I was already like going through like kind of like emotional ups and downs at that point, just because I hadn't slept, I hadn't eaten. And then now I had to get like an incision on my neck. So like at that point, I was kind of like, okay, this is a lot to process, you know? Yeah. It's crazy.
This is a weird question, but like, did you have, okay, first of all, like, how are you now? I feel like I need to measure my questions a little bit. Like, how are you now?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I have to say, like, I feel, obviously, the only thing that I'm having trouble with sometimes, I would say, is just emotionally. And sometimes, like, because of the chemotherapy and because of, like, the drugs that I have to take after chemotherapy, like the anti-nausea medication and steroids, believe it or not. And that makes me feel like sometimes, like, I can't control my emotions and the way that I feel sometimes. Like, sometimes I could be, like, super up, like super like wanting to do stuff and like really having a lot of energy, and then one thing would like make me sad, or one thing would make me like angry, or like I'm very like at times very like touchy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of
like
course.
I
it must
don't
be
have,
just like you're a raw nerve, like you're
exactly. So like I really work a lot on just balancing myself and balancing my emotions. Like when I feel like that, I just like go by myself. I go for a walk. I go like listen to music, or I write, or I read. I just like take my mind off of like how I'm feeling, because it gets to a point where it's like, because I have to tell myself, I know that it's not me. Like, I know that it's not me that's feeling like this. I know that it's because of like the effects of the drugs that I'm taking and the chemotherapy and just like everything mixed all together. It just makes it very hard for me sometimes to like process like what I'm feeling and dealing with that kind of thing. But as far as side effects go, like from chemotherapy, like nausea, vomiting, and things like that, like I have been so blessed to like bypass those side effects so far.
Nice.
And I think, how long was it? I have 7 left. So 7 chemotherapy left, like 7 treatments left.
Wow.
I had 12 in total.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks. It's called the AVBD regime. So it's for basically a cocktail of 4 different drugs that basically it's specialized for Hodgkin's lymphoma. Like it's like classical treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay. So every 2 weeks I receive chemotherapy. So this is what I do. I get chemotherapy, then I go to my mom's house for a week, just because like after chemotherapy, you don't really want to like do anything yourself that much. Like, even though I can, like, I know that my mom could like just make sure that I eat and everything like that. Yeah. So like, I like to come here and also to be around like my brother and my sister and my family, nice. Like during that time.
Nice. It's like a loving environment.
Yeah, exactly. Even though sometimes I'm like, get away from me.
Oh man, they must be like all over you, right? They must be going through their own thing too, right? Like I can't imagine.
Yeah, but they've been really, really good. They've been really, really, really amazing handling this situation. Like they know me, and they know like when I get quiet and stuff like that, I need my space, and that they go upstairs and they leave me alone, and like they've been really, really good
family,
about that.
Right?
Yeah, they're the best. I'm
the
so
best.
glad.
They're the best, the worst, and all of the above. You know,
and everything in between. But it doesn't. I don't remember the difference with like Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's, but I'm pretty sure this is like a fairly treatable cancer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So like non-Hodgkin's, like it grows in different areas and smaller growths in like different areas, so it's like hard to catch, hard to treat,
dangerous,
hard to spot, you know. But Hodgkin's lymphoma, I don't want to say it's a good cancer because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
there's no such thing, but it's definitely one of the most treatable cancers, with like almost a 85%. Well, if you have stage 2 or stage 1 or stage 2, you almost have like a 90% chance of like being cured without any relapses in 5 years.
Wow, beautiful.
In 5 years. So it's really good.
That's reassuring.
I have stage 2B, 2BX. Stage 2B, which I told you is in 2 different spots. So it's the lymph node and the lungs above the diaphragm. And B is bulky. It stands for bulky. It means that is big. Like it's a certain diameter, you know. And X, wait, is it B? No, B is B symptoms. So if you're diagnosed with B symptoms, so all the symptoms that I was telling you about, the night sweats, because some people don't have any have no symptoms, and they just go in and they find it, and they get lucky and they find it right away. But when you have severe symptoms presenting themselves, like that makes it like you have to treat it more severely and get down to it like right away. If you're experiencing symptoms. Exactly. And the X is bulky. Okay. It's that it was a big mother effer. So
you can swear.
You can swear all you want on this.
Am I allowed?
Of course. What the fuck? Let's go.
Fuck it.
You could do it. You have carte blanche at this point. I think anyone going through chemo is like just.
And my mom's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
No, if mom's gonna watch, then I understand if you want to be a little.
Be like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, now my mom watches this because she just figured out how to use YouTube. So she calls me. She's like, "I love the lighting, but you're a little too dark." And then she's giving me all these like feedbacks. I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Mom." She's gonna probably hear this, so it's pretty funny.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi, Mom. Love your son.
Yeah, that's funny.
But
I wanted to say,
been okay lately.
I wanted to ask you because obviously it's insane news to find out, and it's like with the COVID and all this stuff, it's like just pure chaos if you really look at it objectively. It's just things are happening so fast. And especially you said you were on like such a fast-paced pre-diagnosis where you're working school and work back and forth. You spoke to me on the phone earlier this week about mindfulness and like practices to keep you sane and positive. Like if you want to just like maybe elaborate on more of that, because I can imagine someone going through these kind of tools could really help, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I do, like the biggest thing is I write everything, like how I'm feeling. Like actually I have my journal here.
Wow, nice.
So this is the beginning of I basically wrote a whole book, if you will, honestly.
Wow, look at that. Look at all that writing.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I write down everything about how I'm feeling all the time, just reminding myself as well to do the things like that. This is my chance to like do what I need, that like to change my life for the better, like to use it as an opportunity to, you know, do the things that I want to do. Like I write a lot. Definitely writing is like the biggest, is my biggest escape. Before I would go to a cafe and write, but now I can't go anymore. So that kind of sucks. But yeah. I write a lot. I do a lot of yoga.
Nice.
A lot of breathing exercises. Definitely trying to like level my body, like alkaline. I don't know if you know about that, like the breathing techniques and stuff
absolutely.
like that.
We're all about that.
Of course you do.
Wim Hof and cold treatments.
We're all about that life.
Yeah, definitely. I know. And so I do a lot of yoga. Like at least I haven't been doing it, to be honest, like for the past week now. I won't lie. Okay. But
it always comes in waves, right?
I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm a yoga expert, like I'm a yogi. Like no. But I do try to like get myself moving a lot. I think that's really important.
Movement.
And
yes.
Movement. Just like when you eat, not sitting down right away and just stretching and things like that. I go for like really long walks. I just like get lost. I just like walk and I don't even have like a destination half the time.
Yeah, beautiful.
Sorry?
That's beautiful, yeah. Just walk it out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing, honestly, I think, because it makes me like, it just like takes my mind off of everything that's going on, you know, and just like the fresh air and everything. Yeah, that's basically, and I do a lot of reading.
Nice.
As well.
What's
writing down and eating well, of course. Eating like super clean, trying to anyway.
Nice. What was the breath work that you're doing? Is it like a specific technique, or you're just focusing like conscious breathing?
No, I just like conscious breathing. Conscious breathing. I tried to do I forgot his name.
We know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wim Hof, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Like sometimes his exercise.
It works. It's incredible.
It does.
It's
alkaline.
Yeah.
It alkalines the body.
Yeah. You're pumping adrenaline. Everything's flowing and flushing out. It's incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
You just look like a crazy person, but
I started doing that actually before I got diagnosed. Wow. That's why I was like all into the spa thing, and I was like going into the cold.
Look at you.
I was like really into that.
Hell yeah.
I was getting into that like a lot before I got diagnosed actually.
Okay.
So then I just continued with it. But yeah, definitely want to continue with the cold thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like an antidepressant. It's crazy.
I know. It's like at first, like I'm somebody that loves to be warm. Like the more blankets, the better. The heat on full blast, tea, like, but like ever since I started doing that, you realize like how much your body could like handle, you know? It's crazy.
I don't wear winter jackets anymore.
You know?
No.
You're one of those people, right? You're one of those people that just go out into the cold.
I wear either a sweater or like this light jacket, and then I just do the Wim Hof breathing and I go outside. I'm good.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah,
you must get cold.
Well, you know, it's such a powerful technique because anytime you start feeling cold, you just do 2 minutes of that cycle and then you're good. And it's just like you can just continue that repetitive cycle.
I bet your mom doesn't like it very much when you go outside.
No, she goes crazy.
You're gonna catch a chill. I'm sorry, Nate's mom. I forgot that you're listening. I'm not making fun of you. That's just the generic mom voice that everyone does.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the point, is to catch a chill. It's like I mean, you know what's crazy about the technique is that you actually don't feel cold after. Like you actually feel like it's going away. It's not like you're fighting the cold. Like that's just at first.
Yeah, you actually don't like the temperature of your body by your breathing. It changes. It's really weird.
The way he described it was in the diaphragm, because you're doing, so the diaphragm goes down and up, right? It compresses and relaxes like an accordion almost. And with this breath technique, you're creating those things where you put in the fireplace, it's like an air pump, and it creates. Yeah. So it's like that. You're doing with the diaphragm contracting, expanding, and that's creating heat in the core, which is where your body needs the heat the most, right? So once you do the breathing technique, you're created all this heat from just diaphragm breathing. So that's his philosophy behind it. And we feel it, right? Like you don't
definitely.
You don't feel cold after like 2 minutes of it.
That guy is intense.
It's a bit intense.
I would love to have him on our
imagine
podcast.
Imagine you were doing the cold as much as he does. Like you might go a little crazy. You're just like happy all the time, and you're like, I love the cold. And just like you see those pictures he has on Facebook and stuff where he's drinking tea and he's like just in a barrel.
Just going to like Antarctica for vacation now. No more beaches.
Like, well, you want to hear something crazy about him? He swam under like the ice caps, and apparently his cornea froze, like his eyeball froze, and he just swam under the water. Like
he almost died.
Oh my god!
He couldn't find the hole, and the guy had to go and get him, and he had like a very near-death experience.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It probably made him even more like willing to do it again.
Exactly.
That's it. Sure. a little crazier, like a little more in lust with life, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were doing this before you got your diagnosis. So like you're still doing it now. Like, are you trying to kind of keep things rolling, or does it have like a different feeling?
I think that more than ever, I feel like I'm starting to like move even more. Like before, I didn't have any time to do anything. Like I really had no time to do anything at all. Like so basically now I've been taking the time, especially like waking up in the morning, making sure that I have like a balanced meal, like always eating like so many fruits and vegetables and tea and water. Like I eat super clean now.
Nice.
Most of the time. Yeah. I let myself have a dessert every once in a while, obviously.
Of course.
But yeah, like I'm almost like a little worried that like when everything goes back to normal, like that I will let go of like this kind of lifestyle, because I'm enjoying it so much and it's helping me so much, like just focusing and taking care of myself. It's so important. Like I realized in all of this that like money and like all these like material things, like they don't really matter in the end, they really don't matter. And like I'm definitely gonna change, like, well, I have changed already, and I plan to make sure that my life like stays kind of similar to like how it is now. But the only thing is, yeah, of course, like I feel a little bit tired sometimes.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it didn't really affect me that much, the chemotherapy. But I have to say now that it's almost halfway through, I'm starting to like feel a little bit more fatigued. Like after 3 days of because they give me medication for 3 days after the chemo. That's for like anti-nausea and vomiting or whatever. After that, you kind of feel like a downer, like a big downer for like a couple of days. So like maybe like 3 days after chemo, 3 days after the 3 days. So
6 days.
Yeah. So after that, I kind of start to feel a little bit like down, and like that's when like all the medication kind of like makes me feel like dragged down. So like I still try to like get out of bed during that time and like move around and still move, but it's becoming a little bit more difficult. than other times. Okay. But I just have to tell myself, like, you know, your body needs rest. Like, you need rest. You have to listen to your body as well. Like, you can't push yourself. Like, if you're not feeling okay, then you have to rest, you know? Yeah. So I think that has been something that I have been a little bit hard on myself, because I'm like, oh, why don't you, like, talking to myself saying, why don't you feel good? Like, you're lazy, like, get up, do something, you know? Like, but then I'm forgetting, like, what I'm going through, that I'm not in a normal state, like, that to be able to handle doing, like, a full exercise, like, you know? So I think that's the balance that I'm kind of still trying to achieve, just resting and being able to move around at the same time, you know, not beating myself up over the fact that I'm feeling tired, you know? Yeah. So that's been a little difficult.
It's funny how when we're healthy, we put ourselves kind of like on the side and we just grind and we do everything. Like you're saying, like we're doing extra hours at work, we're going to school, and we're like, yeah, I'm okay, I'll be fine. And you like ignore yourself. And now it seems like you're so in tune with yourself in a sense where you're listening to every little detail and you're writing it down, you're writing all your thoughts, and it's like, it's kind of incredible if you think about it in terms of like the introspection, you know? And
I love that part. I feel so good about myself right now. Like, even though like everything that I'm going through, like, I just feel like I'm really like getting to know who I am again, and like coming back to who I was like before all this stuff got into my head, you know, like going out, partying, but making money, you know, going to school, like trying to like achieve, like get a degree where I could earn the most money, you know, like in business. Like I was like very driven by that, you know, like for a long time. And now I just completely like have a new perspective on life, to the point where I don't even know what I want like to do anymore. Like I don't know what my profession will be. Like I can't tell you this is what I want. This is what I want to be. It's scary, but in a way it feels good at the same time, because like I know that's not what I want for myself anymore. Like even though I worked hard for my degree, I did work hard. I worked very hard for my degree, and I'm close to graduating. So I will finish my degree on my own terms when I get back, slowly and not like rushing like how I was. But I definitely am taking the time to write and to like really get to know myself, and just paying attention to like the things that make me happy, like very, very close to my heart, that like I could possibly make a living out of that kind of thing. So that's like really where I am right now. I'm kind of just like thinking about like what I'm going to do to make myself happy. Like I want to do a job I want to have a job that feels like a passion. I feel like that's really important, especially for your health too. I mean, like it was eating me a lot, like everything that I was doing, like I'm pretty sure it had an effect on my body and my health.
100%.
Like I didn't help my situation by the way that I was living. I'm not saying that I gave myself cancer, but I'm saying that I definitely didn't help the situation at all.
Wow.
So yeah, I really hope that I could find out, like that's basically why I started the YouTube channel too, is to, you know, explore that side as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're doing like a spiritual surgery almost. like it's,
yeah, definitely.
It's messy. Definitely. It's like I like you said it's scary, but like it feels good. And like it's surprising to hear you say like you're loving this time right now. It's like there's this newfound kind of honesty or something, but it's like you don't know where it's going. So I feel you. Like I didn't expect to be like, oh yeah, I get that, but it's like I feel that. I understand.
Yeah, it's like it's scary, like in the way that I don't know where I'm gonna be like afterwards, like, I know that I'm going to make it through this, that's for sure. But I just don't know, like, what my life will be afterwards. And sometimes it's scary because I'm like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, like, you get me, right? Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be like. Yeah, basically. I have no idea.
It's like, I don't know if everyone feels this way or if it's just life, you know, but like, you guys can tell me your opinion, but like, it's like everything's kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, you know, and you're just being careful and you're like trying to make something out of your life. And then something comes and hits it and everything goes like everything gets shaken and kind of erased. And you're like, oh, like I'm still here. I can still Etch-a-Sketch, but like what I was working on just got kind of like flushed or distorted. And I got to kind of work with what I have now or just go screw it and start from scratch. Like,
yeah, I like that analogy, Sammy.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think the thing that makes me the thing that makes me most scared as well is just not knowing about what's going to happen, and also like not making the most. I think that's the biggest thing. Not making the most of this time. I think that's the thing that gets me every single day. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, don't let it pass you by. Don't be lazy. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, you want to make like you have to appreciate like life and appreciate like and you don't want to be back in the same position as you were like before you started this whole journey, like overworked, letting go of things that are important to you. Like, don't ever do that again. Like, I think that's like the main thing that's in my head. Like, you don't want to be like that anymore. You don't want to be like somebody like that anymore. And I think that's honestly the hardest part about this whole thing, and the scariest part about this whole thing is just, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't ever want to go back to that, you know?
It's amazing to see. It's that you were operating in like this crazy momentum of life that we're all operating on, and just it's promoted to just go and achieve and reach this top of the ladder. And now that like you were knocked off that ladder and that Etch-a-Sketch is just wiped out, it's like now all of a sudden Chanel's talking to Chanel, and it's like, no, I don't actually want all those things. Like, let's start to look more into the gratitude and the appreciation for these things. And it's like, it's literally like you're guiding yourself now, and there's no distraction. It's just you and you.
Yeah. I found out I'm pretty smart, actually, like when it comes to all this stuff. And that's why I want to help people as well, because I feel like one of the things that I discovered is that I'm very like empathetic. I'm very empathetic towards people, and like I feel like I could get like what people are going through, and like I feel like I could talk with people, and I could like really, I don't know, I love to do that, and that actually is like a new thing for me too, you know. So yeah. I really hope that I could expand on that, or like use it like in the future to help other people. I'm just figuring out all the ways that I could help, like in any way that I can. I'm even thinking about like how I could raise money for the cause. I haven't thought about an idea of how I will do it, but I definitely am thinking about like a way to like give back also to lymphoma and to cancer. I just haven't got like I don't have the blueprint yet, but I will let you guys know definitely about that when I
we'll figure it out.
At all, for sure. Yeah.
We'll send everyone to that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Definitely.
That's so powerful. It's like you're on such a mindful aware path right now, where you're really thinking about all the things that truly matter to you, and not many people have that.
Is just like
activate.
And it's kind of a rare occasion, because sometimes we need like a crazy scenario for us to realize what truly matters to us, you know. And a lot of people don't always get that feeling and that perspective. You know, it's unfortunate that it has to come with some baggage with it, but you know, what comes after is beautiful.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I look at it as a blessing, kind of.
Yes.
You know, really, really do look at it like that.
Well, you can live your life looking at things as blessing, miracles, or as curses, and it's your choice how you perceive it.
And also, like, I'm lucky that I haven't had it as rough as other people. Like, I've spoken to people. I speak to people every day that have the same exact diagnosis as me, and they're not doing very well right now. Okay. Like, they're not accepting, like, the chemotherapy very well. Also, thank God we live in Canada, because some people are paying so much money for this.
Wow.
In the States.
I can't imagine.
It's really crazy the amount of things that you realize that, like, you could be grateful for, Yeah. It's just every day there's something else to be grateful for.
And perspective too, right?
Yeah.
There's always someone with a worse situation, so it's important to be grateful that your situation is not as bad as it could be, or
Exactly. And also you have to think about, the way that you look at things, like perspective. Exactly. Like, because I could looked at this like, oh, why me? Why me? Which I did for a couple of days, for sure.
That's normal.
Especially when this whole thing started. I think the starting of this whole thing was the worst part. Like, now that I'm kind of into the groove of, like, my regime, like, every 2 weeks I go there, it's like a routine kind of. But in the beginning, it was really scary, So I'm happy that I found my rhythm through it, and anyone that's going through the same thing will eventually get into that as well, Yeah.
It's crazy what you can get used to, but, like, there's still so much to make things easier. And my mom had breast cancer, and I found out that, oh, she's great now. Thank you, though. Like, it's always, life is just bittersweet all the time. I don't want to put anything out there. Like, it just seems like we're all walking on a fucking razor's edge.
Yeah.
but thank you. I just found out. I learned a lot with her going through that, and one of the things was how, like, there's always a community. There's always, like, it's part of recovery. It's part of treatment. Is like, maybe that's what inspired you also, is like you're saying a lot of other people in your situation are not even maybe able to do what you're doing. So it's like you have these positive perspectives. Like, you almost feel lucky. Like you can do something more for these people, and you can share, and it helps. It builds community. It makes someone, for lack of a better word, like, healthier. It makes them stronger. It makes them, even if they're at the end of their rope, or they're just not having a good time or something, you just have this little extra, and it's not little. It's like, it's weird that we have to say this, but, like, humans are community based. Like, we just need each other. Like, we just need each other.
100%.
I don't know.
Definitely. I know exactly what you're saying. I completely agree with you. And, like, honestly, the best thing I could have done is be open about it and be aware about it. Because, like I said, I met so many people going through the same thing, and I cannot imagine my journey without them. Like, it would not be my journey. Like, it would just be something completely, like, more sad, more depressing, and less positive, less perspective. 100%, like, coming out and, like, talking about it and being connected with everyone. It's like I have a new purpose now. Wow. And, like, this is not led by what people think. Like, before, you care about, like, what people think, what people do, you're influenced by, like, certain things, like, oh, I don't want to say that because maybe I'll sound too, like, I want attention, or maybe I'll sound like, maybe some people will think that, like, I want people to feel, like, sorry for me or something like that. But, like, when you have that community, when you have, like, those people around you, you basically, like, you put that aside and you say, no, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for us. Like, I'm doing it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's the biggest thing, is to make, like, a difference. and to help people that are going through the same thing. And that's it. Then that doubt that's in your mind, you take it out and you just throw it out the window. You get rid of it and you never think about it again. You just don't go down there.
You cut the fat. You just cut the fat off, and you're like,
that's it. You do what makes you do what makes a difference and what makes you happy. Like,
yes.
What makes you happy. That's it. And what you do to help you cope. Don't think about other people and like that's a them problem, you know?
Yeah. That's an interpretation problem.
Sorry, could you turn on the lights, please? Sorry.
Okay. It's amazing that these stories, like these premises are so powerful that there is strength in numbers. And you hear that all the time and you see memes about it all the time, but community really is healing. And it's so funny because we always, not always, but we like to be alone and secluded, but we also like to grab on to others around us. It's like this push-pull relationship, but you really notice it when you're vulnerable, how powerful community is, you know? And
community is everything. And like I said, I talk to people every day now, and it's like I couldn't imagine my day without knowing how they're doing or what they're going through, and certain things that I could only say, like talk about that with them, like, oh, like I'm feeling really like hyped up right now on steroids, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You ready to go?
I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Or I really want to like go in the fridge and devour like the whole thing of brownies, you know, like things like that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And it's so important in the healing process, but in just to know that you're not alone and that people aren't alone. And sometimes we feel so fucking alone, but there's always someone going through something similar with us. Mm-hmm. And when you just open up and reach out, it's like you'll be more like your Instagram post, for example. Look at all the comments and the hearts, and I'm sure the private messages you got. I'm sure you didn't expect that at the time.
Sometimes when I'm feeling down, I literally go on that picture and I like look at my comments and I read all the comments and I just cry, and I'm just like, wow, people are so beautiful and so nice and so kind. Like that's one thing that we forget. Yes, people are assholes too, okay? People are definitely assholes. But in this experience, like, people have been amazing, and just, I'm so happy.
I'm sure that gave you strength too, that post, just seeing the support.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really, it was actually so surprising as well. It wasn't surprising, obviously, when somebody's going through something, but like, people that like I haven't spoken to in so long, you know, that I haven't seen in so long, that now I talk to because of what happened, but at least like we are back in communication, you know, like it just brought so many like different blessings to me, and I appreciate it so much. Even when you wrote to me, it was really nice too.
Thank you. It came from the heart. Jeez,
definitely.
You're getting me all emotional now.
Aww.
It's all about though.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's incredible though. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you mind if I get water?
Yeah, go.
My mouth is
go for it.
dry.
Go for it. That's the. I really feel like we've gone legit, Sammy. We have a guest getting water now.
I gotta go pee. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna bring my earphones with me to the bathroom. Hold on.
That's hilarious. That reminds me. Did you guys see that video? The senator in the U.S. They had like a senator meeting, and he went to the washroom quick during like the vote, but he left his mic on. So you hear this guy go into the washroom just pissing. He pops a few farts, and everyone in the room is hearing this happening live feed.
Dude, that literally happened in a movie, like one of the Naked Gun movies from like the freaking like late 80s. Like that is, I can't believe that's real life.
Yeah, I gotta find you. I'll send it to you later. It's the funniest thing, man.
I've seen it. I think.
Yeah, you saw it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It was so funny. Oh my god, that has to be the most embarrassing thing.
Yeah. Oh, and you come back. The worst is you come back and everyone's acting like it's normal, and you find out later. That's probably the worst feeling.
You just look
Oh,
around
that's
like,
ugly.
oh shit.
If I was in the crowd, I'd be like, "We heard you peeing!" Like I would just rip the Band-Aid off. I'd be like, "Guy, I can't. It's so cringe. It's real life. I'm not even watching The Office or something."
I would like nudge the guy and I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like that was gross.
Just let him down easy.
Let him down easy.
Let you know.
That's so good. Chanel, do you do any type of meditation? Like you're doing the breath work, but
I usually like put something on YouTube and try like my hardest. But I've been reading a lot about like auras and meditation and stuff. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to like slowly get into it, but I don't want to like force myself. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When you try to like force yourself to do something, but you just
it never
can't
works
see
like
it
that
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a wise way to go about it. So many people
Yeah.
kind of blind faith thing, and they're just like, "This is who I am now," and they just become like new agey parrot sort of.
Yeah, because I have this book that I just recently bought. It's called like, what is it called? Is it there? No, I don't think I have it. But it's about auras, like different colors of the auras, and like, do you know much about that or?
Maybe Sammy, I don't know.
No, I actually don't.
No.
Honestly, like I've studied a bit of yoga and stuff, and I'm reading the Yoga Sutras, and I've learned about like how to. I'm technically a yoga teacher. Like I've done my certification, and they mentioned.
You should do YouTube videos of yoga.
Hell yeah, Sammy.
You know, I was thinking actually doing like Twitch, like live.
You should so do that. I would so join.
He's got a hell of a guiding meditation voice too.
Oh yeah.
He put me out. I was gone.
That's something that helped me with yoga is like learning about hypnosis. And you were saying that you use like videos and like the idea of yoga nidra, like a guided meditation, like someone kind of walking you through it. It's like if you do a yoga course like from your own head sort of like, and you just kind of do it yourself, then you're kind of concentrating. But if someone is giving you the course, I realized this like recently. I realized this kind of late in my yoga career. It's you get to kind of step out of your mind, and someone can kind of give it to you, and there's a different benefit. And I don't want to say clearly like an added benefit, but definitely a different benefit. Like you can get a little more. It's almost like you're cheating, but like it's not a cheat because you're still getting a benefit. Some people, maybe in your circumstance right now, you can't or shouldn't meditate. You know, you're going through a lot physically and mentally and just spiritually, like just your whole love.
I do sometimes, like I just have to be like really in the right space for it. Usually like when I'm at home, like because I have my own apartment. So, but I'm here for 1 week. Basically, I'm here half the time at my mom's half the time, and I'm back home half the time. So when I go home, that's when I like get into it. I put my yoga mat down. I do my yoga like every day more consistently, and I do like meditation. But like I really have to get into it because. Actually, one of the side effects of the chemotherapy is they call it like chemo brain. It's a weird thing to say, but it's like you kind of have this like feeling of confusion sometimes. Like I'll be talking about something, and then after like I'll completely forget what I'm talking about. Like completely forget what I'm talking about. Or yeah, you just kind of feel lost sometimes. I don't want to laugh, but it's actually funny sometimes to me because sometimes I'll be like thinking about something, and then I'll just be like Dory, literally
like just what were we talking?
Yeah, literally I'll be like, what were we even talking about? So sometimes it could be a little difficult with that new side effect that has just started, but yeah, I definitely try. But I try to lead like every moment by feeling like in the moment, if that makes sense, kind of like I feel like every moment is almost a meditation, like almost like not a meditation, but every moment is almost like felt like very
you're present
deeply and exactly.
Yeah. It's present. it's like the door to presence kind of moves in different moments, because it's like you could be happy, you could be sad, you could be like going through chemotherapy, you could be, you know, your mom could be going through chemotherapy. The door moves, but the door's always there. And something I was telling myself.
A sloth?
I feel like a sloth. That's just like, you know?
That might be a good move though. You're just like, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, no. But like, is it? I mean, we're laughing because it sounds like you're high. Like you're like, oh, I forgot what I was just talking about. But like, is it like a fog? Like, do you feel kind of just like down, sort of, or is it really just like taps out?
It's like, for example, like my mom went out yesterday, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going out or whatever, and I was like, okay. And then after like 2 minutes later, I was like, she told me where she was going, but I had no idea. I did not remember what she said at all. I was like, where did she go? And I was like, but wait, I know she told me, you know, like I know that she told me, but I don't remember what she said. And then when she came back, I was like, where did you go? She told me. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like just literally little like details that I like completely forget. I have to write. That's another reason why I write everything down, is because I have to, like, if not, like sometimes I won't remember. And also a combination of like forgetting things like instantly, and a combination of just like fog sometimes. Like I'll be doing stuff around the house, let's say, like I'll be doing the dishes, and then after, like, I'm in my room with like a hat on or something like that, and I'm like, what am I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I go from doing that to like being like in something completely different.
Wow.
Like doing something completely like not related to what I was doing, and then I have to kind of just like, okay, you were doing that, go finish what you were doing, you know?
It's like, it sounds dreamy almost, or like spacey.
It is like a dreamy, spacey kind of feeling. Yeah, it's like cloudy, a little bit cloudy.
That is. Yeah. I mean, speaking of forgetting about stuff, we were talking about auras, and I would love to hear like where you were going with that. I'm just curious. Like,
oh, okay, the aura thing.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like this book sounds like it means something to you. Like you were gonna get something to it.
Yeah, like I like it's basically like about auras and about like how like each color, like let's say if like you see someone or whatever, like there's like a ray around you, like it's energy that's coming out of you, and like it comes in like different colors. That's like where I kind of like I know all the characteristics of the different colors that people see. So I read into that. So like there's red, there's orange, there's yellow, then there's like blue and indigo, which are more like people that are like very like clairvoyant, like very psychic abilities kind of thing. But when they started doing the exercises of like, look at somebody and try to imagine like what color their aura is, that's kind of where I stopped in a way, because I was like, I don't really see anything right now like going on right now around them or whatever. But I definitely looked into like all the different characteristics of like the different colors. It was pretty cool to see, and like I kind of looked at like where I think I am on that scale, like in like intuitiveness, or you know, based on like my mood and how I treat people and just that kind of thing. Wow. Yeah, but I could send you a picture of it after.
Oh yeah, I'm curious.
I would be curious.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll lend it to you guys if you want to borrow it.
Post,
it's a cute little book.
Post COVID. Oh, it's like a small. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I mean, like you were talking about before, how you don't want to force these things, you know, because it is like
that's
out
why
there,
I stopped.
for lack of a better term.
That's why I stopped when it came to like the colors and everything, because like I'm not gonna lie to myself and say that I see a color around somebody when right now I don't see anything, you know.
And you're in such a state of honesty right now that I don't even think you could push that, you know. You need, and everything needs to come
like,
naturally to you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stopped with that. But yeah, definitely. Sorry, guys, my mouth was so dry.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, like I don't force it upon myself when it comes to like anything like that, meditation, and like I just let like my vibes go, and like whatever I feel like doing at that moment, that's like what I do, and I just make sure that I write everything down and just absorb it in that way, you know.
Nice.
Are you doing this consciously? Like, is this something you're really trying to do? It sounds like you're just being like compulsively honest with yourself. It sounds like you're just being like brutally. It's almost like, if I can use a metaphor, because we're talking about books and writing a lot. It's almost like you're just reading words on a paper. Like, you're not trying to add anything. Like, you're just looking at what's in front of you, whether it's your treatment, your family, your the books you're reading, the new kind of spiritual information that you're taking in, and like the esoteric information, or even the side effects, you know, like you just, your own emotions as well, and the desires that you want to kind of like turn into action. It just seems like you have this calm kind of, just maybe kind of it's like a high energy, but it's still just kind of this like calm, like honesty, just back, like
honestly, I think it's because I was like, I really, like I said, I want to get like the most out of this experience, and I think like the only way of doing that is like being completely honest with myself, and like realizing like where I went wrong, and like how I could fix that, you know, like how I could bring this into like my new life after all of this treatment and all of this, like into my life, because like I really want to like live my life with like purpose. I don't want to ever go back into that feeling again, even though before, I'm not saying that I was like some crazy ice woman, like, you know, but I definitely wasn't looking at things the way that I'm looking at them now. Yeah, definitely more honest with myself. I think I've always been a little bit like honest with myself. I've always kind of been like very realistic with myself, and I would say that I'm a pretty like strong person. I like to look at like reality, like of what's going on with life, and like that's how I am. Like I look at something and like I deal with that. Like that's nice. That's how usually I am. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and sometimes I think that could be a little bit of a downfall for me as well.
Not being perfect.
No, downfall for me as well. Like being so honest with myself. Yeah. Sometimes I'm a little hard on myself. Definitely, I think that's like the biggest thing. I'm very hard on myself. Like if I don't like make the most out of my day, sometimes I'll be really sad, and that's when I'll get emotional, and I'll be like, you know, like I didn't do this today. Like I didn't accomplish like what I wanted to do, you know. So yeah, I think I've always been a little bit like that though, like just like very, very honest when it comes to reality. And I think that it's always better to just deal with something like hands on. If you don't like something, then you have to fix it. You have to work hard to fix it, kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
Like a double-edged sword of like wanting to accept but also take control. I guess you're still you in the end, you know, like this is a profound experience for you, but it's like you kind of, there's still this core being
like
that,
I don't want it to happen again. I don't want to like look back at this experience and say I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't grow from it, I didn't make a difference. Like I just let it pass me by, and now I'm back in the same spot where I was. Like I'll never forgive myself if that ever happens. Like
it almost seems impossible at this point. It just seems like the character you had before is just adapting to the new situation, and then and now you're practicing all this kind of mindfulness. It's like the only thing left to do is work at this kind of acceptance and help other people similar situation.
Yeah.
That same drive you had before is just super useful. It's attacking you sometimes because you want to make the best out of every day.
It kicks me in the butt sometimes, definitely.
But now it's refocused.
Think that's what I need to relax.
Yeah.
I think I need to relax sometimes and just, like, not, like I said, not be so hard on myself when it comes to letting myself, like, for example, like what I said about, like, when I get too much rest that day and then I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything, I'm lazy, or, I'm still learning how to give myself a break, if you will.
That's a tough practice.
Yeah, definitely.
But sometimes just giving ourselves that metaphoric hug is so powerful, and being like, you know what, it is okay to just fuck off for today and just go sleep that extra few hours or lie down.
Exactly.
And not shame yourself.
I make sure that I write that's another thing. I make sure that I write like things that I'm proud about myself. Like, also as I write, like, reflect on what I'm doing and things, I say, like, Chanel, like, I'm really proud of you, like, that you're, like, doing all of this. I'm really proud that you're making a difference. Like, before I spoke with you guys, I wrote down, like, I sat down and I wrote, like, the fact that, like, I'm gonna be on this podcast, and that, I'm scared and I'm nervous, but I'm gonna do it because I know that, like, the person who I want to be in the future, like, is gonna be proud of, like, this couple of first steps that I'm doing to, like, be more open, and
Hell yeah.
So, like,
I love it.
That's fucking beautiful. You got a fucking head on your
shoulders. You guys are making me blush. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, you guys are smart too.
We're all right.
Debatable.
Depends on your definition of smart.
I think I just got a lot of good friends, man. I'm pretty hard on myself too sometimes.
Well, you guys are doing really well.
Thank you.
But you're pretty hard on yourself too sometimes.
All the time.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, of course. I mean, I think everybody is. I think
I feel like I feel you in a way. Like, I think that that's similar to me. I think, like, that's one thing that it's hard for you to give yourself some credit sometimes.
Even compliments. Right? I'm just learning how to accept compliments now. I've never taken compliments in my life, and it's not serving me, we're such tough teachers on ourselves to the point where it actually works against you. So it's really important to learn how to find that balance between self-motivating and like destroying, for I don't know the right words for that, but
exactly, like, there's a very fine line.
It's like you're trying to motivate it, but it's really doing the opposite.
It's like you read my diary, it's like, you're a piece of shit. Like, hurry up.
I said this story so many times in podcasts, but it's like, imagine a teacher talking to you like that. Like, you fucking suck. You're terrible. You're never going to want to learn from that teacher. But we always talk to ourselves like that, thinking it's going to work,
Yeah, it's really important to remind yourself of, like, how much you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to, as hard as it was at the beginning of this whole thing, now I make an effort to be like, you know what, like, hats off to you. Like, nice. Look at what you're going through. And it's okay, like, to feel, so I don't know if you've seen my post earlier when I wrote about, like, how I was feeling today, like, how I was, basically I wrote, like, that the past 3 days have been really emotional for me.
Okay.
Like, it's the first time that I actually, well, not the first time that I cried, but, like, the first time that I really, like, got uncontrollable, like, feeling of emotion that I couldn't contain, kind of thing, because my hair,
Yeah. Which you're rocking, by the way.
Thank you. It's actually pretty fun to have no hair,
I can't wait to shave my head again. How easy is it when you shower? It's just like a quick.
It went from, like, 2 hours of getting ready to, like, 5 minutes.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
I was like, you know what? My head's actually nicely shaped. Like, it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse. I mean.
Yeah.
But, like, at the beginning, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been outside yet. with my head. I haven't went outside yet. I don't know. I think that might be a little bit like, I'm going to do it eventually, but I haven't gone there yet. But when I first, it's cold already. It's cold here right now. It's weird. It's like when it's hot, you feel it hot. It's weird.
It's a very strange feeling.
Weird. Yeah, it's really nice though. But
like
anyways, everything I feel like the breeze flying through, like but it it grows so fast. It's like almost you feel it growing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, but anyways, I was like a little emotional like this past 4 days, I would say 3 days. Not because like I lost my hair, like I already like knew that was gonna happen, and hair is something that's like it's a small price to pay for your health. Like really, would you rather be healthy or would you rather have hair? Of course I would rather be healthy, you know? Yeah. And like of course and my hair will grow back, you know? But it was just the fact that like that day, like I shaved my head and then I was like looking in the mirror and it was kind of like forced me to think about how far I've come like since the beginning in a way. Wow. Like, wow, you know, like now it's like a physical reminder. Like I'm not sad that it's gone. It just forces me to feel like it forces me to feel something like big, you know? So I was like really emotional for these past like 4 days because of that. But now I'm okay. I let it all out and sweet. I feel better, you know?
Nice.
Mirrors are so powerful. It's weird that you like I was going to mention something earlier. I don't remember the context, but like you just like the fact that you see yourself and you see yourself differently, and it's like there's this. It's almost like you start empathizing towards yourself. Mm-hmm. And a lot
that's
comes crashing.
It's exactly. Yeah, that's it. I was like forced to come to terms with like what I had been through, and I had been like so strong so fast. Like I had to be so strong so fast, and like I was just thinking about like the beginning of my journey. Like before chemo, like I had to go through like fertilize my eggs actually. So I had to go through the biopsy, a bone marrow biopsy as well, by the way. They had to take some of my bones.
Isn't that like extremely painful?
Oh, it's weird. It's really weird feeling. It's weird. It's like they numb you so you don't feel anything really, but you feel like the pressure. So it's like a little needle, they stick it and like they yank a piece out of your bone. Like it's really weird. Yeah. It's actually not as painful as it sounds. Okay. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's just a lot of pressure. If you can imagine a lot of pressure. But then after it's okay. Like it doesn't feel much. But what really, really, really affected me, honestly, that I was thinking a lot about like these past couple of days and kind of like reminded me of like everything that I had been through. And the hardest part so far, I think, was the fertilization. Like what is it called? What do they call it again? The the freezing of my egg.
Okay, yeah.
Because I had to do that before I started treatment.
Yeah.
Because one of the side effects of chemotherapy could be like you cannot be able to have kids. So like there's a small chance of that happening because of the toxicity of the drugs and everything. I mean, it's not a very high chance.
But it's there, so you take precaution.
But it's there, yeah. So I want that one day for myself. Eventually, I don't know when, but I definitely do. So I took the chance to do that, even though it was like very, very, very hard. Yeah, that was like very painful. So I was thinking about that, honestly, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe like all that I have been through since this whole journey started, especially like that part, because that was the hardest part, I think.
Wow. Another layer deep into like the reality of it, right?
Yeah, but now I'm happy because now I have like 10 little eggs waiting for me at the end if I need them, but it's just like a reflection of like how proud I am of myself for like getting through all of this when I thought that I wouldn't be I thought that I would never get through this.
Wow.
I never thought that I would, and here I am in it, almost halfway through. So next week will be halfway.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, next Friday.
Congrats.
Jeez.
Yeah, fucking milestone.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you.
Hell
Hopefully
yeah.
by the end of my treatment, I'll be able to have visitors again, but I doubt it.
Who knows? Who knows?
I will throw you a fucking party. It's like the first time we meet, but I get the feeling we get along.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Chanel.
Everything happens for a reason, and for sure we'll have to all hang out.
Hell yeah. Once this is all done.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Have
You'll come to our Curious Chimps episode 100 party we're going to throw. We got some time to go, but it's coming. Chanel,
how many episodes do you have?
This is going to be 31.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
We freaked out last episode because like this felt like just yesterday we just started it, and now it's like holy fuck, there's 30 episodes online. It's just a weird feeling.
Was I a good guest?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I loved it, honestly.
Do you want to just plug in any of your YouTube or Instagram where people can follow your journey? Because I know you're starting to blog it and put out videos. So I'll give you the spotlight to put any plugs in.
Wait, what do I do?
If you have like,
say it?
Yeah, if like, what's your Instagram handle?
Okay, it's Coco Chanel. CoChanell. Was that 5 L's?
Okay, I'll put it in the description too.
Yeah, put it in there, and what my YouTube. I'm not sure exactly what.
But they can get to it from your Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll put a link in the description too.
It's a link in my bio.
Okay.
So if you want to see my journey and me talking about it like in depth
as it's happening, which is
and new videos coming soon.
Wow, nice.
That I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take you guys like on a day of chemo with me. Like
Wow.
I'm gonna bring it with me too, and I'm gonna have the nurse explain like in medical terms. Like I already asked her. I have like a really like cool nurse that's my age.
Wow.
And she said she wouldn't mind. So next time I go, she's gonna explain everything in depth, like the drugs, the whole process.
That's amazing.
It's gonna be like VR chemotherapy.
It's gonna be crazy, yeah.
Wow, no, but I think you'll help a lot of people with that, and people seeing you're going through it, and then
to show people that it's not as scary as people really, really like. It's scary. It's really, really scary, but like you can get through it.
You can get through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just showing the monster, like we said before at the beginning. Just opening the lights, so to speak, and just making everything a little
facing it directly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Face the void, my friends.
Facing it.
Okay. Well, on that note, Chanel, this was awesome. Really, really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's my pleasure.
So nice.
I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, but like you're a fucking inspiration. Like this is really an intense.
No, honestly, look at my cheeks right now. I don't think I can smile anymore. I think my cheeks are literally gonna like fall off. Thank you guys.
Keep doing
so
what you're
much.
doing, Chanel.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Keep doing what you're doing.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you. Bye, Nathaniel. Bye, Sam.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Pleasure. Take care.
Pleasure.